I knew we were in trouble when they showed us a Game-7 ad 10 minutes into the game. Crazy, man, crazy. I'm kidding, but that was kind of weird, right? Steve Kerr, for the fourth time in 6 games in this first round, started a new lineup. This time it was GP2 in place of Pajemski to, in theory, cool off the red hot Fred VanVleet. And Fred is a unique matchup because he's such a fire hydrant of a guard, right? They say 6 foot. I doubt it. 6 foot in Tim's, right? He's not 6 foot. But what he is he's always the lower man. He's always got the lower center of gravity. And so it's extremely difficult to get him off balance. And that's a big part of what GP2 does defensively is he's constantly bumping and getting handsy and getting guys off balance, which disrupts their rhythm. And Fred, what is this, the third straight game with 6 threes or more? And coming off a season where it was his worst season shooting the 3 ball of his career. And he's just peaking at the right time. And he hasn't, with this Rockets team and their depth, he hasn't had to do a lot of heavy lifting throughout the regular season. Like, make no mistake about it, he's their vet and their point guard. But it's not like the load of a typical star night to night because they have such depth, and sometimes it's Jalen Green, sometimes it's Sengun. They have different options on different nights. And we've caught Fred VanVleet here peaking. And so what really, I think, hurt to start the game was having to send 2 at him coming off all the screens and handoffs. When he's coming off the handoff or a screen, right, Draymond's staying with him. Now Sengun is catching the ball, Jabari, whomever it may be, Brooks, in the middle of the floor, and it got them better shots and got them to their spots. Like, if you really want to simplify why they're shooting so well is they're all getting to their, quote, spots. Jabari, that corner 3-ball. Amen, that short midi. It's an ugly one, but it's his spot. Shingun's getting back to his right shoulder, you know? And not only did it get them better looks sending to it, Fred, but it also empowered the offensive glass. It opened up the offensive glass even more because now we've tilted the defense to the strong side of the ball. There's just simply less Warriors on the weak side to try to clean up the glass. And so that got them off, I think, feeling confident. And I don't know what you do with Fred. He's hitting run-up, pull-up threes. He's hitting ridiculous Steph Curry-like threes, these moon balls. And so do you just wait for the law of averages to kick in and say at some point here, I kept saying, hey, at some point here, he's going to have an O for quarter. And we're still waiting on it, right? We're still waiting. Fred's just, it's incredible, man. You always hear the term portion control when it comes to eating healthy, planning out your diet and your meals. And I think Factor can help a lot of you. Fresh, never frozen food delivered directly to your doorstep. And it's created by a team of gourmet chefs using ingredients of integrity. Now, back to this portion control thing. And what do they say? It's 21 days to form a habit. And that's where not only is this convenient, healthy, and tasty, right? 2 minutes, you don't have cleanup, no meal prep, right? But the portion control is something that I haven't spoken about, where in about 21 days, if you can stick with Factor and build that consistency, you can naturally portion control better because Factor guides you that way. And even with meals outside of that, you can get that portion control. And so, yeah, I'm using their juices now as my pre-workout because some of these pre-workouts, there's so much caffeine, just using something more natural to get that energy, that boost, and that pump in the gym. But Factor, you guys, I've been telling you about it for a long time. So if you're just looking for something convenient on the go that tastes good and is affordable, Factor's for you. But I think more importantly, a lot of us are looking to eat healthier, portion control, and build a routine. Factor can absolutely help you. So head to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code 50alchemy for 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's factor75.com, code 50alchemy for 50% off and free shipping on that first box. With GP2 in the starting lineup, we ran a lot more pick and rolls than we typically do to start the game. And I thought that was in part why we ironically had more turnovers. Not more. I mean, we're a turnover prone team anyway, right? But it's not something we traditionally do. And in Houston, look, not only is their youth to their advantage as this series has been extended, the familiarity in our system, in the personnel, not just like the split action, but they knew our role guy, they're not trying to finish, right? We're trying to dump it down to the dunker spot, or you're trying to hit to the corner. And so they're sitting on those passes. And you look at our starters at the turnover box score, it looks like rebounds. It's like 4, 5, 6, 3. It's insane. It's insane. So obviously they get out and transition defense to offense. And I thought they looked a little tight to start, but Fred breaking the defense, I think, really loosened things up for them. And it was funny because Steph, he went to the locker room early at the half and struggling to control the ball, and he started off cold. And this is Steph, right? He looks cooked until he starts cooking. And he looked cooked until about 6 minutes to go in the half, and he perked up, and all of a sudden, we're right back in this thing. And it's all right. It feels like we should be down 10, 15 points. What was it at the half? 4 or 5 points? It wasn't much. It was one of those games where you felt pretty good, all things considered. Then Jimmy gets going. Like, we can't complain about our 2-star players and how they performed, albeit not at full health. He gets the cheap fouls, the and one on Dylan Brooks. And I think he had like an 11, 12-point third quarter. But again, that zone that they showed us, I did think we attacked it a little better as far as slipping on the baseline, getting Jimmy the ball in the middle of the floor. But the fact that Fred is carrying the offense and they're shooting this way, it's empowering and it's enabling Ime to stay with the double big lineup in Adams. And we don't have an answer. We simply don't have an answer for him on the backside of that. It's like, they're already tired and run down, and now you've got to defend for 2 possessions, on 2 clocks on 1 possession, essentially, I should say. And Draymond's inability to hit the 3 in this series is just, it's death, because we know you need him out there defensively, obviously. And he always, you notice the pattern has been he'll take a quick couple of them, and then he quickly loses confidence in them. He's hit a couple, but I don't know. The percentages ain't great. And in the second halves of these games, he's not even trying to take them. And it's just really hurting things because, again, the familiarity of them playing the passing lanes and not getting that offense. And so, do we just have a shooter's chance headed into this Game-7? That's what it kind of feels like, And again, the law of averages. At some point here, Fred's going to cool off. Dylan Brooks is shooting 44% from 3. Jabari, I think that's who he is, especially the looks that he's getting. But at some point, they're going to cool off. And are the role players going to start to make some shots here? Because, Moses, I'll give him credit, man. That was the most decisive and aggressive I've seen Moses Moody. That dunk was crazy he almost had. He popped a couple threes. And it's just like, I don't know if a light bulb went off or what, but this is what I had been calling for this entire series. He has to be decisive in attack and be aggressive. So Mo looked good. On the flip side of things, Quentin Post killed us. And it feels like he's essential to this matchup because of the double big lineup and their zone. So it makes complete sense that he's in there for 20, 25 minutes. But again, back to the familiarity, they're way too comfortable seeing him at the front of the rim. And you're dealing with, a top 3 athleticism team in this league. Might be the most athletic. I don't know. It's subjective. But Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Jabari, Eason, when they see him, he looks like barbecue chicken at the paint. They know they can elevate over him, get into his body, knock him off balance, probably draw a foul, and still get some sort of good look or play the glass. And so I get why QP was in there, but he got ate up. He was overzealous too in his rotations. He was stepping up. He wanted to get there so quickly. He was stepping up too quickly, and then it was a quick block call, right? And then they're still getting the shot off. You want me to sit here and tell you we believe Game-7, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, the experience. That's not what I built this channel on. I built this channel on honesty, telling you exactly what I think, whether you agree or not. I don't care if you agree. It's just these are my thoughts, right? I think we're cooked. And you look at Steph, the thumb, Jimmy, the tailbone, and I think that don't truly believe. That's what we saw towards the end of this, where I know they think they can beat this Rockets team, but I don't think they believe they have a run in them because they're hurt at this age and how much energy they've had to use just to get to this spot, the sprint, this final 20 games of the regular season, just to get in, playing a play-in game. And so I think deep down inside, they'll never admit it, but I think deep down inside, they're like, we don't have enough left in the tank to truly make a run through this Western Conference. And that brings me back to the phrase that I opened last video with: fatigue makes cowards of us all. You start to look for a way out subconsciously. No, I'm competing. I'm always going to compete till the end. I'm going to play ball. Subconsciously, when your subconscious doesn't believe you can get it done and you're tired, you're going to look for a way out. And they fell apart in that fourth quarter there. GP2 just do you notice how often they have to direct Gary where to go out of a timeout? What are you doing? How long have you been in this system and on this team? But it just completely fell apart there and they ran out of gas. And so, look, man, does Fred finally go cold? And do the others, does Draymond, Pods, Moody, do they start hitting threes? It could happen for sure. But I think that there's a lack of true belief in actually making a run. And when you're 35, 36, 37 years old, I think they're ready for this offseason. And it's particularly because of the injuries, right? The gauntlet that they had to run through to get here and then being chipped up, I don't see a lot of belief. And so they head into this, what is Game-7 Sunday? Hey, man, and that's why it's fun, right? Anything can happen in a Game-7, and maybe I'm sprinkling a little alchemy jinx on saying this, but no, all I can do is tell you how I feel. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. And I guess the last question would be, how desperate does Steve Kerr get? Because, again, we don't have an answer. Either they go cold offensively, or we've got to do something drastically different when it comes to this double big lineup in the zone. And if Draymond can't find the three-pointer, Draymond's going to be in there. But how desperate does Kerr get in this Game-7? Do you see Trace Jackson? Do you see Kuminga? It's probably not fair to put them in that game. I mean, they're grown men and they're highly paid for what they do. So, who cares what's fair? But I'm curious to see, if Kerr gets desperate early or if he's just going to ride it out. Probably some more Loon is what we're going to see, right? And do you take Draymond off the floor and say, all right, Looney and QP? Or, hey, I'll never forget that, not to bring up another bad memory here, because I know Dub Nation, y'all are, this is not how you wanted to have your Friday night go. But, I'll never forget that Game-7 in the finals. What did Draymond have? Like 5 threes? I swear he hit like 7 of them. We all know what they're capable of, but I don't think they have enough in the tank. And let's be honest, if they do pull off this game Sunday in Houston, Game-7, they're going to get waxed by the Wolves. They're going to get waxed by the Wolves. But one game at a time. And again, I hate to be negative, but all I can do is tell you what I see and how I feel. I'll have a complete breakdown of this one tomorrow on the Patreon. And not to get too far ahead here, but I many of you know I will be covering the Valkyries. The preseason in the WNBA started tonight, I believe. And I will on the YouTube channel. Look, we'll still keep up at when this offseason does start. And I think y'all know it's going to start a little sooner. It's going to start sooner than later. Then I'll keep posting, Warrior videos as news hits and different things. And it's going to be an interesting offseason. The summer of Giannis is just around the corner, right? But I'll also tap in and cover some of these playoffs, regardless of how far the Warriors go in this one, to continue to grow the channel. And because I'm having a lot of fun with it, man. This is what I do. I do it because I want to. Anyway, Game-7, Sunday. Be there.